Super cute Santa cookies.
Let's see what's cooking. Let's get the facts. Let's see what's cooking. It's time for Yo-Yo Facts 12.
Hello everyone, starting off with a very basic sugar cookie recipe. Just pick a sugar cookie recipe that is non-spreading and you can use whichever one you want. This one starts off with 1 1/4 cups of butter, then half a cup of sugar, and then you add an egg and a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and then you blend all that together. And then finally you'll add in a teaspoon and a half of salt, maybe a little less than that if you're using salted butter, maybe just a teaspoon. Then once that's all blended, you can add in your flour. About 3 cups of all-purpose flour. I added mine in about 2 or 3 additions so it wouldn't make a mess. And once the dough was done, I brought it together into a ball shape and I just let it refrigerate for about 30 minutes just for it to firm up a little bit. And then I rolled it out between 2 pieces of parchment paper. I didn't work with the entire dough ball, I just did a portion at a time because it makes a lot of dough. And you can also use wax paper if you want for this, but it does stick to your rolling pin, so use some kind of paper. And then I needed to divide this into long strips to make my triangles. And this is what I call my kitchen ruler. It's in with my kitchen gadgets, like my measuring cups and so on, and I just use it for food. And then I just marked off 3-inch wide strips of dough. And I just used a knife to slice them. And I cut the edges off so that I had something square. And then I just used a knife to cut the dough into triangle shapes. Now you don't have to be exact when you do this. I mean you can use a ruler if you want to get exactly perfect, exact same size triangles. I just kind of eyeballed it, and as you're cutting you'll get triangles that are kind of facing up and facing down, so to speak, but the points are going to be in different directions. And then once these are cut up, what I did is I took the whole piece of parchment with the dough on it and I put it on a cookie sheet and I refrigerated it for about 30-40 minutes until the dough was very, very firm. And that makes it super easy to transfer it to a cookie sheet. So there are the dough triangles. You can see they're nice and firm. They don't bend, they don't tear, they don't distort their shape. And you can put them on a cookie sheet. You can crowd them fairly closely because these don't spread very much. And then you're going to bake them at 350 degrees for about 8 to 10 minutes until they are firm and just lightly brown along the edges and the bottom. And then let them cool completely. Now comes the fun part, the decorating. So you're just going to pick one of the points and you're going to cover it with red frosting. I'm using ready-to-use Wilton frosting in a tube. It is a beautiful bright shade of red, and it's so simple because you can attach the braiding tip right onto the tube. And it's great if you're only making small batches of cookies. I dipped that fresh frosting into some red sugar just to make it look a little bit more sparkly and a little bit more red. And then I put the beard on. Now when I first started doing this, I kind of outlined the face with the white buttercream frosting, and I'm using a simple star tip for this. And then to fill in the beard, I just made little star shapes until the entire space was filled. And then you can leave it just like this, or you can add things to the frosting to give it a little bit more appeal, a little bit more of a beard look. And I tried a variety of different things to achieve this, and the first one I tried is one you're going to see right now, is I use some little tiny sprinkles called nonpareils. These are all white, and I just kind of sprinkled it on, and then I pressed it down into the frosting, and then I tilted the cookie up and just dumped off the excess. And then for the face, I put 2 little dollops of white frosting for eyes, and then I added some candy eyes to that. If you don't have candy eyes, you just have to put a dollop of white and then a little dot of black in the center. And for Santa's nose, I used a large pink sprinkle or candy glued on with a bit of frosting, and then finally a little bit of dollop of red frosting for the tip of the hat, and then a large white sprinkle for the top of the hat. And that is your completed Santa Claus with the little tiny sprinkle beard. Now I actually put a poll on my channel of which beard that people like the most, and most people preferred this particular beard right here that I'm making right now. And I decided after I did a few of them would be easier to put the face on and then put the beard in so that you get the spacing right. And most people preferred this one, which is just frosting in using the star tip, just like that. I like this one too. And then all you have to do is let them sit and the frosting will crust up. So there is just the star tip beard. And here is the sprinkle beard with the tiny white sprinkles. And this one's covered with little snow-shaped flaked sprinkles. This was also very popular. And this is plain white sprinkles, the jimmies, the long ones. And then I also tried just plain old flaked coconut. Tell me which one you like the best. Now these are really cute on a platter. If you arrange them kind of like this, it makes it kind of like a fancy Christmas platter. I think these are super cute. Now here's another video I made a few years ago. These are more like a vintage looking Santa, and it actually uses egg yolk as a paint. And I also do little reindeer.